I clicked the part. Oh, sorry. My name's Rhapsody, and now the game is Monster Train. I clicked depart, and now we've got two random clans. We've got the exiled leader of the Hellhorn, that is the Shartail Queen, and then we have Melting Remnant, led by Wrecked Flicker, as our follow. So we'll have 5 copies of Dreg in the base deck, as well as 5 copies of Queen Impling, which means that our base deck has no spells. Oops, all minions. Oh, though we'll also be given 2 additional rating starting cards, giving us the Vent. X cost to deal 3 X damage to enemy units, that's our spell. 1/1 size Molten Encasement, Extinguish to apply stealth 2 to friendly units. And then, the boy, the Money Man. 1/2 size Paraffin Thug, on Slay, gain 30 gold. So we'll just be trying to get as many slays as we possibly can out of you, roll that into a little bit of gold, use that gold to buy advantage, compound from then on, you know. And ultimately take that to Seraph Eternus, Chosen of Entropy, so I should be ready for not only being sapped, but also for the Silence. You have Silence. Echo of the Time Father, once per turn, god, if only, once per battle, rather, select the heart to apply Frozen to all non-blight, non-scourge cards in hand. Cool. We'll never have to buy Permafrozen. Useful. Hersel's Horde or the Artifact Bursts. Sorry, Hersel's Horde or the Artifact, that's both the same thing. Or the Upgrade of the Hero first. If I get the right artifact, there's certain hero lines that make more sense, like Imp Sickle, for instance, or Flicker Slicker. When you play a unit after deployment, a random card in hand is reduced to 0 cost until it's played or discarded. I can play the most expensive minions very easily. I suspect I'm going to be doing some sort of Reformation strategy. This is basically... Oh, sorry. A random card in hand is reduced to 0 cost. I can play basically every expensive card easily. The Dregs will make them cost 0. The Queen's Implings will make them cost 0. If I have Shardtail on a line that will also reduce the cost of the Imps, I'll basically never need energy with just this one bottle of liquor. That's exactly what we want. Imp Parade. Resolve, add a Queen's Impling to hand, but also Imp units cost -1 on this floor, giving us the ability to just stack the bottom floor with a bunch of Imps, keep sacking them, and in doing so, reducing the cost of other cards in hand. That said, the very first thing that we're going to want to do is make sure that we set up enemies to be able to get killed by the Paraffin Thug. So, I mean, we will be taking Imp Parade, we just have to figure out how to do that in the fight. Sure, I'll draw one less card each turn. I'm pretty sure y'all have... Thin their number quickly, for a second. So I think this is just a bunch of the 3-1s. No, do they have someone in front? Because if they have someone in front, then I need to put Shield Steward Paraffin Thug on a different floor, and then have the ability to hit them with Queen's Implings on that floor. Fine. Okay, yeah, they have a 65 health in front of them. So that we have some additional space on the bottom line, I will summon the Queen's Impling in the front. This will give us the Slay for the Paraffin Thug. Rude. It had to be there. Not too much I could have done about that, frankly, without really spells in a deck. I do need to make sure 2 Forsakens get up to the next floor, because otherwise the Paraffin Thug doesn't get to slay anyone, and I would really like the 30 gold, please. Especially considering I missed the Collector. Okay, so if I shot one, you'd kill the front line, and then strike the back line, and then you'd get struck in return, which means that, no, we wouldn't get enough units up here, so I'll be holding entirely everything here. Perfect. It's as much damage as I can get done on this floor. Thankfully, they're clearing out a Shield Steward on the next floor, giving me more space for playing Queen's Implings. I suspect I'm probably best served by also throwing down a Spear Steward in the midline instead. No, I mean, that also only blocks one attack. No, we go this. 123 damage to your AL. Pretty good. I do suspect on the top line we're not going to be able to finish them off. Just courtesy of the whole no spells situation. But we shouldn't take that much damage to you either. Could have gone significantly worse. I wish I got the Collector though. Well, to help the ability to give armor to a unit, very, 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 very good. Merchant of Steel is next to a Remnant banner. And so is it in the second area as well, so I'm probably going to go Merchant of Magic Hellhorn banner in the opener. Ooh, am I? I have 2 spells in the deck, and they're both Vent, and I'm offered a third one. There's also Hidden Passage for ascending a unit. I could definitely make some use of Ascension to overstack floors and stuff like that, but realistically, I want to find a way to run Shartail Queen as a floor by herself. I need a Defender for the Paraffin Thug, and then I need another floor to put Dregs, Queen's Implings, whatever I reform, things like that on. I'll take a Well to Helper. Molded. Directing a reform on a target? Perfect. Having Molded admittedly does make the Merchant of Magic much more interesting. Because this happily takes Spell Chain, Holdover, Intrinsic, not Intrinsic -1, but -1 cost. It takes a lot of the upgrades that otherwise Vent doesn't want. I guess it comes down to whether I want a Hellhorned unit or a Remnant unit this line. Remnant unit Merchant of Steel is obviously a really good way to get a lot of... I can't turn it down. Realistically, what do I need? I need a powerful unit to stand in front of Paraffin Thug and not die. So, without any spells that are really good at doing that, I can bring units back. I can't really prevent them from dying. I should just get a unit that can stand in front, and then also give it some additional health. Large Stone Heartstone, who does that go on? Legion Wax, please. Wickless Tycoon. Harvest for 10 additional coins. You gotta like that. Alright, quick and +10, give that to the Paraffin Thug. I think I'm gonna Large Stone the Wickless. I think I'm literally just gonna run Wickless and Paraffin Thug as a line by themselves. Just because of how much I struggled in that previous battle. I think if I didn't do something like that, I would be in big trouble right now. Flagellant's March. So they enter the field at 110 HP. They take 20 damage as they go up each line. You attack with Quick. So I'm going to need to throw a couple of imps at him on the bottom line. Or I let them ascend all the way to the... top. That's it. And I chump block on the midlines. It means I'm not going to be able to get all of the units on the top line, but it'll be worth it. Oh, don't talk to me or my son ever again. You go there. You go there. I need the space for the imps. I can't summon the shield steward. I'm happy with the units dying. Again, I do need them to cycle over here. Hell yeah. Get rid of the calcified ember immediately. So for 50 gold, I'm effectively loot 50 gold as well as the 75. And it's 50 gold apiece. So 175 gold total. I'm basically trading away 12 higher health at the moment. Worth it. That's worth it with a capital W. We'll mold a new impling. New impling just dropped. It's this one. Flagellant happily does manage to make it up to the next line, where the Paraffin Thug will slay them. Perfect. Two molten encasements on the bottom line is a bit much, actually. We'll get all the appropriate targets slain. I'm gonna Echo of the Time just to keep these cards, prevent them from going back into cycle, because they really don't need to. All the relevant targets die there as well. Drop a big vent. Healers are allowed to go through to the top line. That's completely fine by me. And in fact, this line that's coming up here is perfect. A front line with a decent amount of health that's going to get slain quickly by the Paraffin Thug, and then the Wickless Tycoon responds against the healer. We take no damage and get both the slay as well as both of the harvests. I do feel like Welder Helper would be good here, but I also feel like this is like my last opportunity to play the Spear Steward, who is some good damage. That 5 spikes is pretty scary. Get him, Tycoon. All of the money. Molting Imp. You're going to give me a third variety of Imp? And against that, you're offering me the exact same 2 spells again. Sure, I will take the Imp. Hey, that's a pretty early Subsuming Blade. 1 Ember Piercing, deal 5 damage. On Slay, increase damage permanently by 3. I'll also commonly have a target for it myself, as in Imps or Tombs that I want to kill my own units. Having gone Merchant of Steel in the last area, I do feel a little more keen on the idea of going for a Merchant of Arms, maybe looking for a room or a piece of equipment that could be useful. I seldom do this, but I'm out of Pyre sorry, I'm out of Pyre health. Like I'm on 29 out of 70. Healing up here could be important. Multi-strike. I can also just drop Stoic Plate Mail on a imp unit to make it just a big defender. There's a really good argument. There's a really good argument to be made for the Void Armament. The Void argument. And that's that the Flicker's Liquor will make it very, very cheap to be able to play that, but also it'll give me the ability to purge the dregs out of my deck. It'll give me the ability to cut any card out of my deck that I want. Do I want to get rid of the Shield Stewards? Probably not yet, but eventually. That's a lot of card removal. Enchanted Chamber, not so much. Stoic Plate Mail, a little less. I think I want to take the reroll here, hoping for a room that refers to units dying. Well, that's curious. That's curious indeed. Steward's Quarters. 1 additional size, trained stewards gain multi-strike 1, and 20 additional damage. That becomes a damage floor. With 1 additional size, I can play 2 shield stewards on the same line. I've never really respected this card at all. Just give it a go. It's 0 cost as well. I'll draw it in the opening hand. Spell Sanctum. Spells cost -1. If I had many spells, I think I would take that because it's very easy to generate it, put it on the board. Again, Flicker's Liquor is reducing the cost of so many things, but Flicker's Liquor is also reducing the cost of so many things, and I don't have that many spells, so why would I play this in the first place? For expensive spells that I get later? Maybe. I'm so interested to see how this is going to work out for us. Fireborn Brain Spike. Reduce. No one has cooldowns in these clans. That is a sadness. There are mechanics that just are not useful for the base clans at all. Common Spike, 3x Conduit. Not especially interested in that. Spike of the League, 1x Reanimate. Well. Stack a bunch of Reanimate on a Molten Encasement. It's also worth noting, this can also just be treated as an extra capacity on a floor. I don't actually have to play Train Stewards to utilize this. It's deployable. I can use this to just increase one of my lines to having 6 capacity, which would give me the ability to get our top line to be Wickless Tycoon, and then a Paraffin Thug behind, and then in front of both of them, a Molten Encasement with as much Reanimate as I can possibly put on it. It's also the only one that's actually going to have an impact here, so I'll take it anyway, even if that's not how I end up using it. Archeon's hunting our Pyre directly. I do suspect I'm going to need some additional damage here. I feel like Steward's Quarters on the bottom line and then making it double Shield Steward down there. Because then when the first Shield Steward dies, I can just put the back line a Spear Steward and then start chumping on the bottom line as well. So it still just becomes a good damage line. Then does that mean Chantel Queen sits up on the top line by herself? Surely that has to be wrong. No, we're going to be chumping for Chantel Queen on the bottom line. No, I will... it ultimately comes down to the fact that the Wickless Tycoon and the Paraffin Thug need to access a weakened line, because they're not enough damage to really kill a line by themselves. So I don't put them on the bottom line, because they would rarely even kill the front unit. So does that make Shield Steward my top line? I don't like that. I don't like it at all, I say as I click the buttons. Oh no, don't kill him. Wait, hang on. Actually, that's fine. I still get a Slay and I still get 2 Harvests on the next floor. Guess there's an argument to be made for just giant spike on the Shield Steward right now. It's a decent amount of damage Archeon's getting hit by. Fine. Finding a Molten Encasement setup for that is difficult when both of the other lines are maxed out on capacity at the moment. Ooh, yeah, here's the situation where I'm very grateful Molten Encasement came out when it did. Harvests will still trigger. Do I want to prevent 6 going to the top line? 6 is short of killing our Shield Steward. I get 10 more gold if I throw this vent on the mid line. But I also weaken up these enemies a little bit, which might matter. 10 more gold. See, I'm less inclined now to use the Void Armament to remove the Shield Stewards from the deck. But if I put it on Paraffin Thug, it's entirely possible Paraffin Thug gets perma-removed from the deck. Because, like, Archeon is probably going to get all the way to the Shield Steward line on the top. I can definitely get down with removing at least a single Queen's Impling from the deck. They are, bar none, the worst of the Implings that are available to us. Yeah, that's an acceptable loss. Oh, that's 2 Slay triggers on the... or 2, reanimates removed from my top line. Good to see you, Subsuming Blade. I can prevent the incoming 6 damage from the Savage Spearman. Subsume. Keep a little HP on that line. Gotta love that. And I'll hold this hand with Molten Encasement and Molting Imp. There's purged a Queen's Impling from our deck. We'll mold a very large Queen's Impling for a front line, or do I just want to get a bunch of Molten Encasement? I think a bunch of Molten Encasement is actually probably the way to go here. That's the most damage I can push on that line. That's pretty much how I would have expected that line to go. Hell yeah. Get ready to get rocked. Subsuming Blade on my own unit in order to make space for a chump-blocked Welder Helper. Two turns of Dregus 24 damage. Two more Dregs in the back line is enough for us to win on this floor. Those shield stewards are going to need actual upgrades from Merchant of Steel soon if I want to continue using them on that line. I'm considering capacity. Hello! Sacrificial Resurrection 1! I'm looking at the circle. I can't read today. 0 Ember. Sacrificial Resurrection. Consume cards in hand. All of them. Get out of the deck. Add a draft unit to your hand and apply plus 10 damage for each card consumed. There's also Last Stand, Consume, double the amount of rage on friendly units, and finally, Devourer of Death. 1 Ember, 1 size, Harvest. Gain Soul 1. On extinguished, deal damage to enemy units equal to 15 times the soul count. I have in my deck currently a Reanimate, and I can put you on the same line as a bunch of Shardtail Queens, permanently dying Queens Implings, which I think would be absolutely hilarious. There's Demon Friend, there is a Steelworker, and a Paraffin Enforcer. I don't think I'm going to be running a burnout line, so not Paraffin Enforcer. Demon Friend, I wouldn't be able to summon you in the opening, but I'd be able to summon you after that, but where would I summon you? I think Steelworker. Steelworker and, forgive me, but Capacity, I think, is what I'm doing. But the ability to keep Shardtail Queen, Devourer of Death, and multiple spaces on the bottom line to continue cycling through units. It gives us the ability to also throw a Spear Steward up on the top line with a Steward's Quarters. It also gives us the ability to fit Steelworker on the same line as our Paraffin Thug and Wickless Tycoon. Oh. Double stack target, consume remove target. Yeah, we have a good target for pretty much every upgrade that can be offered at a Merchant Magic, except Permafrozen. Merchant of Trinkets, I have a huge amount of money as well. I could go Merchant of Trinkets now and Merchant of Trinkets in the next area with the amount of money that I have. However, can I give up 2 Merchants of Magic right now? Especially considering after that, I'm going to a Merchant of Steel. I might even want to go to 2 in a row. Merchant of Magic at the very end. Would I be okay with forsaking Merchant of Magics? I think the real downside of that would be missing out on the ability to try and consistently give a ridiculous amount of Reanimate to Devourer of Death, giving us the ability to clear on our bottom line. Removals in that Unstable Vortex. There's health in this one. Screw it, I'm going for this Merchant Magic. Merchant of Trinkets. Train Steward units get the Boom ability. That's where they self-sacrifice in order to do 50 damage to the front enemy unit. Look, I have... if not for the fact that I'm trying to do this individual Train Steward quarters line, maybe, but... no. I'm not going to do that to them. An extra upgrade slot with Firestone Housing and then just hitting 2 Merchants of Steel to just fill up all of the upgrade slots on the Shield Stewards, I think would be huge. Deal 3 piercing damage whenever an enemy unit moves between floors. That's actually really good because I think they die on the floor they arrive at, and if they arrive at the Paraffin Thug's floor, they get harvested. 3 different kinds of card and turn. Gain 1, draw 1. Rage adds an additional damage per stack or advance the enemy unit. Nope. Those seem less relevant. Imp Parade. On resolve, add a fledgling imp. So now we're giving 5 rage. Well, okay, maybe I take Resonant Shard, because that's just going to double the damage we get from that. Sorry, not double. Rage gives 2, and now it'll give 3, so it's 50% more. Oh, if only I had a unit already heavily upgraded. Well, Wickless Tycoon. I think I give Wickless Tycoon Titan Skin for additional defense. Titan Skin meaning it'll take 5 less damage from every instance of damage. I could also give Rage 5 and on Revenge permanently gain Rage 1. Which would be kind of funny. That'd also be a pretty good upgrade for a Shield Steward, to be frank. Because they have multicast. But no, I'll shore up this line. Because Steelworker isn't going to be in the front line. You're in the mid line. You're just helping that line survive. That's a little bit of an annoyance, actually. Non-boss enemy units restore 150 health when they move up a floor. Oh. The Profane Supplicants in the backline have 4 health, so they exactly don't die to the jackstrips. The Ravenous Zealot has 170 health, so realistically on the bottom line, I'm not going to do that much work to you, and then you'll arrive at the next floor with a bunch of damage. I am so mad about this. I don't think I can take it. I don't... no. How dare you? How dare you do this to me? It's illegal. It's rude. It's unconscionable. Bar of Death, I suspect, should go in front of Alfred there. I'm gonna Well to Helper itself, because I still do want the Well to Helper to die. Then top line, Spear Steward, and Spear Steward. Good. Let's go Queen's Impling and Fledgling Imp in front. And Dreg in very front to block 2 attacks. No, I want more units to die. Dreg behind. Purge the Discordant Toll. I think on the next floor, use the Subsuming Blade to take out the enemy. So I get my Harvest trigger. And then hold. Yeah, having a healthy unit in front of a healthy unit is certainly really annoying for us. That's one of the reasons the Fledgling Imps are going to be relevant. Right, Molten Encasement should be certainly played before I buff the units. Why have you got... Oh, right, yeah, because you were fully defended. Ugh. Shunt block for the shield suit on the top line. I want to give Void Armament to you so bad. I think you'll need the damage from it, to be frank. Where did you get your plus 10 damage from? Does the Void Armament carry damage just as a card? Oh, it totally does. I literally thought it was just multi-strike. Am I silenced? What's happening? Oh, the Savage Shackles. Right. Perfect. We're now slaying that second line. Okay, things are good again. We're back in the money. We even set up exactly enough units for the next line to be able to deal with appropriately. Right. I don't want to deprive myself of the golds and them killing my units, so I will just leave this vent in hand. I could have frozen it, but I don't think I'll need that. Also, I still haven't gotten my reanimate spike. If I don't get it this turn, I literally don't get the... Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's give you the appropriate 3 reanimate. Now, I would like to watch this happen in slow motion. Okay, now we're out of stealth. You take 300 damage each time you strike it. Perfect. Justice is indeed swift. Imp in a box. Inferno and Inflame. Thank you, Imp in a box. Quickless Recruitment. Remove all burnout and debuff effects from a unit. Now, I would do... Wait a second. Memories of the Melted. If I permafreeze you with the Echo with the Time Father, I can just wait until I have you and the Reanimate spell in the same hand, and I can cast a Reanimate spell for 1 Ember for every unit that has died. Alright then. Alright, I think I'll be doing that then. We were committed to going to the next Merchant of Magic, next Merchant of Trinkets as well, wasn't I? Weren't we? Second copy of Spike? No, I don't need to go there. Intrinsic and -1 cost. I kind of want to put that on the Subsuming Blade. More than anything else. It's also just a general -1 cost, which can go on Molded. Probably should. I'm going to quickly reroll and hope. Nice. That I can get something really good. Double stack on the Spike of the League is probably the most good it gets. Plus 20 magic power consumed per event? For one of them? Absolutely. Ah, hello! Boiler Room! You are exactly what I was looking for. For additional Ember just off of the bottom line. Removing 2 cards from the deck. Unfortunately, the obvious choices are not good. I'm going to find it difficult to really remove all of the dregs that I want to remove. I suspect we drop 1 dreg and 1 impling. That was really good for us. Penitent Prayer Stone spawned on each floor. That should be okay. Yeah, the first wave of enemies who will just, like, kind of make it through our stuff, that's certainly going to be annoying. but we'll survive. Spear Steward to sack itself at 24 damage on the top line. Oh, not 24, right? You have 20 additional damage on the Steward's Quarters. 68. Good damage. I'm gonna take out your backliner. Yeah, we almost take out the Penitent Presto in this round. Next round we will, but then we won't really push that much damage against the Blightbound Guardian, unfortunately. So starting to work through the Penitent Prestone on the top line, I think, is a really good idea. Even if it costs a Spear Steward. Because realistically, we probably end up with 2 Shield Stewards and a Spear Steward on that top line instead. Mm-hmm. .34 is enough to kill it in a single strike. Woohoo! You survive! So all I need to do is get a... So much Ember! I think I have to do Void Armament for damage. I can drop double Fledgling on the bottom line, but I'm never going to be able to progress the damage to the Collector. Void Armament will draw me a card. If I play it on the second line, I'm probably putting another Paraffin Thug. Oh, we're almost pushing the damage at the Blightbound Guardian. Almost. Oh, you're kidding me. Well, I'm going to have to echo the Time Path of the Devourer of Death, which is going to mean that I can't echo the Memories of the Melted and Spike of the League to hit at the same time, so I just have to hope that they do. And they did. Yay. So Memories of the Melted is going to give me 8 Ember. Also drew a card for us, which realistically, I should play that Shield Suit on the top line. And then I'll use Spike of the League to give 26 Reanimate to the Devourer of Death. And then we'll just try and get as many harvests as we can for the next 2 rounds. We don't really have that much longer, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'm kind of just looking for sacrificial units. Perfect. Ooh, I could have gotten it. I should have used the vent on the second line. I would have gotten 30 more gold out of the turn. Yeah, the Devourer of Death is gonna do enough damage here. Wild. Alright, let's watch this one happen slow as well. I really wish that I could also have the Wickless Tycoon down here, but realistically, this is significantly better. Okay. You've only got 13 soul on you. It's 130 damage, I think. Oh, it's 15 times soul, right. 24 more reanimate available. So good. March of Shields. Advance a unit, apply 12 armor. Impressive, considering the amount of imps I have in my deck. Totally reasonable. 1 Ember attuned, sacrifice an imp unit, deal 50 damage to the front enemy unit, and then tie some climb, ascend, and apply daze 2 to a unit. I'll take the impressive, thank you. Sacred Wig, 0 Ember, consumed to reform 2 random units. The majority of the time, that is going to be pulling back Molten Casements and Implings. Sometimes I'll want that. Engulfed in Smoke, 2 Ember to apply Stealth 2 to friendly units, which I like that a lot of the time as well. Crushing Demise, there's no floor where I really want to randomly kill a friendly unit at the moment. Too risky. Sacred Wicks is an energy pump as well, because it gives me 2 zero-cost minions that then just zero-cost other things in my hand. %, gotta go to the Merchants of Steel. Well. What have we here? Santa Claus, huh? Ooh, I'm really scared. Gimme Shield Steward with a large stone. Then I'm gonna smidge stone that same bad boy. A Strength Stone for just straight up additional damage on a Spear Steward sounds good to me. A Heartstone for just straight up 20 additional health on Devourer of Death so that you don't die to AoE effects as easily. Reroll. Multi-Strike for a Paraffin Thug. Yes. And there's also Quick and some additional damage. Put that on the other Spear Steward. There's a non-zero chance I go Capacity again. Ugh. Take the Heavy Crystal. Get the Entropic Stone upgrade. Get Entropic Crystals. Entropic Crystals is a blight that I would have to play a minion in order to lower its cost, but then I play it out of my hand. Otherwise, it would make spells in my deck cost +1. I don't have that many spells. I could upgrade a spell to cost -4, which admittedly, upgrading... Where are you? Spike of the League to have -4 would just mean that by default you give 8 reanimate. That's pretty good. But can I... Oh. I really wanted to triple stack and double stack it. 4/6 double stack. I know that would be busted, but let me do it anyway, please. Alright. Unfortunately, that's not allowed, so I'll use Entropic Energy. Actually, I don't need... Let's not get Steelworker at the very start of the fight. Tiny little guy. I don't need additional capacity for the top floor to be able to hit all of the stewards. Okay, well, I'll hold my memories of the melted immediately. So that's a spell cast already. Let's get a drag sacked on top line to prevent that damage. I'm going to summon Molten Encasement on the bottom line as well. Although I really don't want it to actually get procced here. Let's blow up the Calcified Ember, giving me a card draw. Savage Shackles, which now I just immediately play as well. Well, that's how it's gonna have to be on this turn, unfortunately. Let's start our concern with the bottom line, where Molten Encasement wants to get in the back line. I'm gonna want Molten Imp, Queen's Impling, a Dreg in the back line, Molten Encasement at the very back, and then at the very front, Fledgling Imp to pump all of their damage. Great, so we'll lose 2 of our units there. On this line, I think I want to throw down the Vent. Drew a card for us. Molded to bring back... I'll bring back in Molten Encasement and then just throw that on the mid line. Save some HP on our units. Thankfully, we have a lot of multicast on the top line as well, so despite the double buff that guy just got, as long as I draw one of my... Wow, still not another one of my stewards. How dare you? Oh, we're not doing super well on that top line anymore. I might need a chump unit or 2 up there. Let's in for the box. Ooh, Pyre Chompers. Oh no, sorry, I can't Fledgling Imp that bottom line like that. I need the Devourer of Death to be summoned. That's fine, I can use that energy already. No, I didn't get Pyre Jumper anymore. Wah. I can certainly use these though. Queen's Impling removes damage shield, and then Molting Imp could go on top if I really needed it, but right now I'm removing the only unit that matters, and Holy Cherub just dies. Gets eaten by literally nothing. And then we're still set up. Yeah, I like that. Oh, but I also want to throw down Fledgling Imp on the top line for additional damage on the Shield Steward. But it's also not necessary additional damage. Alright, we'll hold. Ooh, jump block the mid line, gain additional damage. Okay, that seems better. That seems like a better idea. How keen am I to throw a Void Armament on Thug? Not especially. Oh, there's our spike at the league. Oh, I should have put it on the Paraffin Thug, actually. Yeah, in retrospect, it was wrong not to. Oh, well. Oh, hello, Sacred Weeks, giving us the ability to kill both the backline snipers, but I don't want to do that. Reason being that both of those are going to go up a floor. They will take 3 damage to the jackstrips, and then they'll give me 10 gold apiece from the Wickless Tycoon. Then let's drop... Actually, I'll sack that. There we go. And use now Memories of the Melted in order to gain up to 15 Ember. And now let's get 38 Reanimate on our Devourer of Death, who has 7 Soul for 105 damage every time he dies. To the entire floor. I like running 3 different lines that are like completely different. This feels like it lives up to that. That's all they needed to write. Scaling to being able to kill 2 500 health units in a row, that I imagine is going to be a little difficult for me. I'm going to need to cut a lot of cards from the deck in order to get faster, I suspect. Because, like, our real scaling damage only really triggers in the Relentless phase. Let's bring back a Dreg from the base deck. I'm going to equip you with a Void Armament. Nice. $400 damage every time you kill him. Haven't seen that little face that he makes every time he dies. Managed to miss that so far. Formless Child, 2 Ember 1 size, extinguish. Return a random defeated unit to your hand and apply 40 additional damage to it. Not bad. It's a way to avoid giving burnout to units while you bring them back. But the thing is, most of the units I would bring back, I would want to burn out. Transcend him. When Blade, repeat all summon effects triggered so far this battle. I mean, obviously all of the imps, but I'm looking to see if there's any other ones. There are not. Transcend. I don't need the additional capacity, especially because I can get all of the units on the top line already. And energy is a mutable problem for us, so it's definitely draw. Back at it. Oh! Let's give Titanite defense to the big shield steward. Dualism. Dualism gets soul, twice the soul from the Devourer of Death. That's huge. Let's give additional damage again to the Spear Steward now that already has Quick. Let's give additional health to another one of the Spear Stewards, I think. Shield Stewards, rather. Multi-Strike and Smidge Stone. Another multi-strike for the Paraffin Thug? Hell yeah! If I Smidge Stone the other Shield Steward as well, it sets it up to also accept a large stone at a later merchant. Do I have a later Merchant of Steel? There's no more Merchants of Steel. So this is just giving me the ability to also throw chump units on the top line, which realistically, I might need that from time to time. Here's a fun one, actually. Giving Burnout. I'm going to give Burnout specifically already to the Welder Helper. It also gives it 10 damage and 5 health, but I'm giving it Burnout so that I can play you in the back line, so that you give armor to a unit, but then you still die, freeing up the space. And then Rage 10, we will throw on a Spear Steward. I also leap at removing a card from the deck right now. I suspect so. Bye-bye, another Queen's Impling. Oh, more removal. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that previous one, maybe. One more Dreg, one more Queen's Impling. Yeah. Especially because Shartail is going to be giving us 2 Implings every turn now, giving us a Welder Helper as well as a Fledgling Imp. Non-boss enemy units restore 150 health when they move up the floor. How dare they? So that's going to be a lot of units that have 500 health, moving up a floor and restoring that health. There's also Discordant Heretics in the back line, annoyingly, targets that are really difficult for us to deal with unless we're revealing a Devourer of Death to damage. Ugh, yucky! I want the money, but without a Molten Imp coming out every available turn, it's really hard. I don't think I can take that. Not proud of that. I do still think I have the ordering of our units right, and also even the ordering in which I summoned them. It's going to be a lot of Fledgling Imps that are going to have to... Maybe I sack some Fledgling Imps on the midline so that the Paraffin Thug can get a good amount of rage. Air bits damage. Oh wow, Devourer of Death in first hand. I absolutely play that. Subsuming Blade is enough to take out the Discordant Heretic, which is really good. Oh, so is Vent this turn, though. Oh, okay. So I'm going to do something else then. I'm going to summon Molten Encasement. I'm going to kill my own Molten Encasement. Get rid of the Entropic. I'm going to Molded to bring back my Molten Encasement. I'm going to play that again. I'm going to vent the enemies here. I kind of want to keep Transcendent and Impressive in hand, but I also recognize that the real Wombo is Spike of the League being held for Memories of the Melted. I'm going to forego using those. Okay, Memories of the Melted, Spike of the League are in the same hand right now. Frustratingly, but whatever. We'll do it. Let's go Burnout Welder Helper on the top line. Welder Helper will never really be vulnerable. Like, I can play a Fledgling Imp on the bottom line, and that's basically the best I can do right now. Spear Steward for top. I do want to give some additional defense still to the Shield Steward in the front line, to be honest. Alright. I'm going to echo with the Time Father. These are some really good cards to be holding. I would obviously love to be projecting damage a lot further. Thank you for killing my Fledgling Imp. It's in hand, costs an additional energy. Obviously, have to get rid of that. Fledgling Imp for this line for pumping damage, I think, would be really important. Maybe even Void Armament there eventually as well. Let's use Sacred Wits also. Brings the Fledgling back with Burnout as well. We've still got Stealth on the bottom line. I do want the Devourer of Death eventually to be ready to die. I want as many units as possible to die on the bottom line in the meantime. I suspect the Paraffin Thug carrying more damage make... Oh, no, but I could also just give... Yeah, I'm going to give 150 extra damage to the Shartel Queen. You're not going to get extinguished from the deck because the Devourer of Death is going to do its job. It's going to devour your death. Can I use these yet? I guess no. Fine. Don't like how many Scourges I have to deal with each turn. Elder Helper, you are too good at helping things survive. It's actually really difficult to play you. All right. Ooh. Hello, additional Molten Encasement. And then 26 Reanimate for the Devourer of Death, please. Two 500 healths in a row right there. That's the big downs. That's the big thing we've been terrified to see. And here it is. Another Fledgling Imp for the top line makes a lot of sense when we're up there. Whole load of multi-strike on that top line. Definitely good. Still short of being able to do anything on this line, unfortunately. And the Vent is also short of killing any of the units on this line, although it will at least get them to fall apart as they get to the next floor. I think I'm taking 5 higher damage. Must I? I must. Top line's taking care of itself. Still got stealth on the bottom line, so... This Transcendent, unfortunately, comes into the battle with a ridiculous amount of additional armor to give to frontline units, so if I'm playing you on any floor, it's on the top line. Come on, let me get the double summon triggers relic. Come on, let me get it, let me get it. Get absolutely God. Show it, Devourer of Death, show it. So 36, you're doing 540 damage whenever an enemy kills you. Sick. Impetus Box or Impish Scholar? Impish Scholar allowing us to return a consume card to hand like Impetus Box, or Memories of the Melted, or possibly even Spike of the League, or Sacred Wicks. Realistically, having a reliable Impish Scholar is really nice because then it's also in the Transcendent for later. Resin Removal. Remove all debuff effects from friendly units and all buff effects from enemy units. Super useful. Just generally very useful. Now here's the problem. How do we deal with silence? I haven't got consistent backline reach. So one of the options is going to the Merchant of Arms and hoping for the rare Zone of Silence room, and then working from there. There's also going to Merchant of Magic and hoping to get Holdover for the Subsuming Blade, so that I always have the ability to remove one per turn. If I had to reorganize my floors based around it, I think I would end up having to put the Shield Stewards and Spear Stewards on the bottom line because they don't care, full stop, about being silenced. But it would make the fight a lot harder. I think I have to head to the Merchant Magic. Demon units gain multi-strike 1. Do I have any demon units? I have 1 and it's a Steelworker. No, that's not very good. Unit cards without upgrades cost -1. I mean, my imps already cost 0, basically. Not really relevant. Friendly units apply armor 5 to the front. Friendly unit on Extinguish. If you don't want units to die, that's good, but I do want mine to die. I think I full reroll here. First time you summon a imp unit each hand, draw 1, gain 1, and at the start of each turn, add a random imp unit to hand. Spells get an extra upgrade slot is also there. Holdover. Literally have holdover for the Subsuming Blade. That's all of our problems solved immediately. Imp, imp, imp me. -2 cost and consume for... I'm gonna make the Impressive do 100 damage now. As for removing things from the deck, the base Dregs and base Queen's Implings get worse and worse as I'm adding more and more imps to my hand every turn. Well, that went about as well as it could have. Maybe if we got Ashes of the Fallen instead of Queen's Tale, could have been slightly better. All I have to do is make sure Subsuming Blade kills something every... Well, it doesn't have to kill something every turn. I have to cast it every turn. Got one. Do I have to summon an Impish Scholar just to chump block the bottom line right now? This is gonna be like the last turn that I'm not gonna have enough imps to really handle the bottom line by myself, but... do I want to prevent 12 damage at the cost of the Impish Scholar? I guess I have to. Okay. I am going to do this, but I'm going to do it in a very slightly different order. So, same removal. Play that. You go on the top line there. You come down here. Higher chomper, chomp blocks. Then we'll use the vent first. Then play the Impish Scholar. Entropic Crystals out, and then vent again. Just does some additional damage to the Celestial Bastion. And obviously I don't care about gold past this point, so that damage is worth it. Then Void Armament for pushing additional damage. And then at the start of the next turn, I'm going to get 3 imp units in my hand, including a Weld Helper, so no problems ever again for us. Well, at least Welder Helper is going to be useful now. It's going to block damage I want it to block. This whole turn has been awfully organized on my behalf. Couple fledgling imps to help pump our damage for this line. I suspect Spike of the League gets held. Molded could bring back Impish Scholar, could bring back... Oh, Impidebox could bring back even more Molting Imps? I think I'm ultimately going to end up using Spike of the League on a turn where I play... Now that I've got a couple of Pyre Chomps already played, I'll use Spike of the League on Devourer of Death when I play my Transcend Imp, because it'll give me a huge, huge amount. Get subsumed. Still hold this? I could apply 28 with it right now. We're not going to need more than 28. We'll play out the Curse of Entropy first, and then resin removal the sap that it gave me. I do want them to have multiple attackers is the thing. Maybe I don't play a Molten Imp on the bottom line, just so that I can let them actually try and strike. Because, like, this is ideal. Kill all of those fledgling imps for me, friend. Transcend Imp could both give me back all of the energy as well as Spike of the League, which would be fun. I suspect it's time for me to commit here, so I will. I'm gonna... Actually, no. Spear Steward for the top line. Well to Helper, who I'll kill. Then a Molting Imp, who I'll chump block with. That'll do for the moment, though. Yeah, Steelworker isn't necessary for the midline, frankly. I want to focus on getting top in the best position to take as many rage triggers as possible. I want to get my bottom in the best position for Devourer of Death to do a huge amount of damage. Subsumed. Like, yeah, I can let the Devourer of Death take this hit, and then we will win the round. And I could do that for the rest of the fight. You're doing 450 damage, so you'll get killed once, and then you'll kill all of the enemies. Oh no, you'll get twice, and then you'll kill all of the enemies. No, once. Yeah, once, and then the Shartel Queen will clean up. Hell yeah. Big blockers in the Welder Helpers. No damage taken for the Wickless Tycoon. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna let this start happening on the bottom line. Transcend him. No, let's use to transcend him for a bunch of rage on the top line, I think. Oh, it tried to... Sorry. I'm going to empty my hand out a little bit more. I think I've got 2 Impish Scholar triggers in there. Tried to give me a second one to hand, and I didn't have the ability to field it. It's literally just a case of playing out other things in hand first. I mean, not consume spells, ideally. I can use this to kill my own unit before the battle starts. That's so cool. Should I get rid of one more? Fine. Ah, damn. It's an infinite box and a vent. I was really hoping for the reanimator. Infinite box came with a Queen's Impling, Welder Helper. I do want more units dead, and they have enough damage to do it. As long as I give them some additional damage. So let's do it. Finally I can... Oh, I'll mold it back the Impish Scholar and see if that... On! Yes! Spike of the League! Woo! I don't have any space for playing units, and I'll just play Memories That Melted. Spike of the League for 82 more reanimate. Sorry, I think I muted exactly halfway through that sneeze. Yeah, that's 109 now. 109 triggers of 630 damage to all enemies. So let's just say it's 100 triggers of it, and that is 63,000? Sick. Oh, another Transcendent. That's fun. Oh, it's gonna give too much armor to that floor, though. Uh-oh. It gave back Spike of the League, Infinite Box, and Memories That Melted. That's another 98. Reanimate for our Devourer of Death. We're now 207 instances of 840 damage. So about 168,000? Yeah. I'm just gonna let this one happen. Okay, it was doing 1,290 damage each time by the end of that. So it would have done that 207 times, but also it increments by 30 damage every time it goes off. Powerful. I'll tell you something in this battle I'm going to be very, very thankful for is the fact that Savagery has Trample, because it's going to allow Savagery to kill multiple imps on the bottom line at the same time. Which sounds like a delight. That's not enough. Alright, I'm gonna have to get a shield steward involved on the bottom line. I didn't want to do this, but I am open to it. Because I still have a shield steward blocking our top. Also, 50 damage. I'll just do that to Dominion this turn. Because it's also piercing, so it goes directly under the spell shield. Whole mess of energy for this turn. Resin removal. It's gonna be good in general, but it's probably better not on the bottom line. Subsuming Blade. We'll just hit our back there so that I don't have to worry about that. Let's get a Spear Steward hitting the top line. Pyrelite through. I think a Welder Helper is very appropriate up here as well. Then Chump Block with the Queen's Impling for both the Corruption as well as the 20 damage from Entropy. And then I'll Resin remove the middle line. Also removing the Rage from the enemy. We'll leave Transcend. Actually, you know what? I'll echo of the Time Father that Transcendent. Keep it frozen. It'll always be nice to have one of them up back sleeve, back pocket, in my back pocket, or up my sleeve is the two different ways of saying that. If you want to actually use the idiom rather than sound like one. Chosen Assassin. Good news. Subsuming Blade does just enough damage. By which I mean it does way more than enough damage. Thankfully, actually no, our frontline unit will hit the stealth before you get to attack. Which means, yeah, no, I do need to strike you down. Thank you. That's a lot of units dying on that bottom line. That's exactly what we want. Welder Helper in the front line for the full tank as well. I mean, I want to start using Transcendence. I just don't have any space for him. Devourer of Death, I hope you are getting big, large. Wait, is that 34 rage? No, it's 34 soul. Okay, you are already quite large. That translates into 510 damage to the enemies whenever they slay you. It's about time I start getting you the ability to be slain, although you are in stealth this turn, so I've got to set you up for the next turn, basically. I can use the Subsuming Blade to take down a target this turn. I could totally see myself ending up doing. Higher Chomper. Memories of the Melted as well, nice. What would I bring back with Molded? Higher Chomper seems like the obvious choice, but Image Scholar has Sacred Wicks, and I think you have the Vent in you at the moment. So you have the worst two things in you, but the Transcendent really wants more Impish Scholars in it. Sacred Weeks gives us even more Pyre Chompery. We can get a burnout one unit on the top line especially. On Subsuming Blade, one of my own units, lay out the Memories That Melted. And then Transcend him at the very front line, I think. Thank you for all of these additional imps, unfortunately many of which I can't house this turn, but I can get 130 reanimate on the Devourer of Death, and I'm pretty happy about that. Excellent. Our goal is now allowing the bottom line. Oh my god, the bottom line does 2.6 thousand. Nice. Our bottom line now needs to die as many times as it can. Heck, I could kill you with a Subsuming Blade every turn. What fun. Get him. Oh. Impressive, that one, which otherwise wouldn't have died. Ones with Burnout can certainly go on top. Defended. Oh, another Transcendent. I mean, you do just play that. Yeah, exactly, because it gives me back Memories of the Melted, another Spike at the League for another 106 reanimate. I'm not going to consume this vent because I don't want to draw that back again. No! Wickless Tycoon, the big boy! I mean, molded to bring back a Transcendent, I suspect, is the correct answer there. I need to play a lot of cards out of hand. Get rid of them. Get rid of debuffs on my units, buffs on the enemy units there as well. Probably should have done that on top line, frankly, but it's not going to matter. Another line to throw some minions away on. That'll have to be. Savagery's about to die when it comes down, so it's just Subsuming Blades for Dominion from now on out. Oh, your trample damage still gets enough to take down the Shartel Queen here? How dare you? Can I get one more Transcend him? I can indeed. Molded will bring one back. Send him for top line. Is that all of them that I can play? No, I can play a fledgling and a couple of welder helpers here on the mid as well. Trying to make sure I expend as much of my hand as possible. Transcend him on the top line. Ah, damn. I don't get another memories. Another reanimator, unfortunately. Which means that the fight is over. How much damage exists on our Devourer of Death now? So you do... I'm going to round this up. You do 1,500 damage. I'm rounding it up 30 damage from 1,470. Just for the math to be easier. 1,500 damage. And you will do that the next 226 times you die, as well as the one time after that. So 227 times. You know what? I'm just going to use a calculator and use the actual numbers. 1470 times 227 is... Oh, great. Pretty much bang on 1/3 of a million damage. 3,330. Sorry. 333,690. 1/3 of a million damage from just this one bad boy. Sick. Bye, Firelight. And let that round end. That's the kind of thing you can do when they give you the Flicker's Liquor that early. Especially with the Chartail Queen as well. Impressive Subsuming Blade, and finally Steward's Quarters gets its gilding status. Unfortunately, I don't believe we are going to get a cutscene because we got only Monster Train 1 clans in that run, so instead, I'll scoot across to the next episode where we probably will get one because I think I'm headed back into the Dimensional Portal. Until then, though, my name's Rhapsody, the name of the game has been Monster Train. A special thanks this episode to Jazzy. Hopefully you'll have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.